side, we got one. West side, we yo now. We say now, we too drunk, and we bout that, and we going back. This God flow, my soul shine. We turned up, we yo line. Now fingers in the sky for the hardest man alive.
One time for the hardest man alive. One time for the hardest man alive. One time for the hardest man alive. One time for the hardest man alive.
Now look, the hardest man alive, and no surprise, the name is Jesus. We ain't leaning, we ain't snapping, we just teaching to these heathens. Now my daddy paid the cost, and he did it like a boss. Put the word up on his shoulders, then he carried this on cross. While the cross was on his shoulders, probably heavy as a boulder. He was bleeding, but he knew he kept it moving like a soldier. Wasn't no need to resist, put them nails up in his wrist. But the betrayer named Judas sealed his faith up with a kiss. Then they lifted up his beam, his body beaten and bruised. Put that sign over his head, look, that's the king of the Jews. Both his feet are extended, it's just to raise the torture. Apostles, they left him, wonder where the support at. Now every breath is agony, imagine nails tearing through the metal, toss some bones that go running through your feet. As his arms grew fatigued, muscles cramping, he grew weak. You can feel the pain throbbing, it'll probably make you weak. Look.
East side, we got one. West side, we yo now. We say now, we too drunk, and we bout that, and we going back. This God flow, my soul shine. We turned up, we yo line. Now fingers in the sky for the hardest man alive.
One time for the hardest man alive. One time for the hardest man alive. One time for the hardest man alive. One time for the hardest man alive.
He fights to raise himself. It's hard to catch his breath. Carbon dioxide in his lungs as he's nearing death. Still displaying his power. He hung up there for hours as his vision is getting blurry from these bloody showers. His back is lacerated, it's whipped up on his timber. And since he made that sacrifice, I promise to never give up. As his heart compressed, the pain is more intense, and he's dehydrated. He can't get a rinse. He can feel the chill of death, his body ripped to shreds. As he took his last breath, they made sure he was dead. Last through his ribs, grist the blood and agua. Peace out, sayonara, that's it, bye-bye. But on the third day, he rose again like what's happening. I ain't never lie, see I told you I'll be back again. Look, you ain't got no money, promise we ain't sweating it. As far as your sins go, he just paid for it.
East side, we got one. West side, we yo now. We say now, we too drunk, and we bout that, and we going back. This God flow, my soul shine. We turned up, we yo line. Now fingers in the sky for the hardest man alive.